LLC for a parcel located at 5191 Route 28, indicated as SBL number 25.3-1-11, located in a residential 1.5 acre zoning district. The applicant is seeking a 2-foot variance in order to construct an 8-foot tall fence on the side yard of their property, as well as a 4-foot variance in order to construct an 8-foot tall fence within 25 feet of the front lot line. The public hearing is scheduled for May 17th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. at the Shandaken Town Hall, 7209 Route 28, Shandaken, New York. Anyone who wishes to make comment regarding the application may do so during the public hearing. If you are unable to attend, you can send any comments you would like read during the meeting to shandakenbldg@gmail.com or P.O. Box 134, Shandaken, New York 12480. All such comments must be received no later than May 17th, 2023 at 3 p.m.
And were there any applicants to the public hearing?
There is one.
Person who was present?
There's
Yes.
one this evening.
I didn't hear what Olivia was saying, so I'm not sure what I'm responding to,
Oh, well, she was just reading the address of how the public hearing
right?
notice was announced.
Yes.
And you're responding to that public hearing?
I am.
Would you please step up to the microphone and tell us what your input is? And also, please state your name.
My name is Jeannie Maloney. I live at 5195 Route 28 since 1986. I've been there for a long time, and I was neighbors with Kate's Lazy Meadow all those years. Never had any problems, and I'm hopefully not anticipating any problems. I really came here for 2 reasons. One reason is to introduce myself to whoever is going to be, who has that property, who is erecting this higher fence or the extension on the fence. And also to mention that a couple of weeks ago, I was in my kitchen and I heard some racket. And I was like, what is it? And it sounded like a saw of some sort. So I went out and there was somebody standing on a ladder on the other side of the fence, chopping off all of the little pointed wooden things on the top of the slatted fence.
The fence
And-
posts?
Yeah, the posts. And literally there were hundreds of little things that were like 4 inches tall and like this. And they were just being deposited onto my property,
Oh,
the whole length of my property. So I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? You know, what am I supposed to do about this? This doesn't seem correct to have been done that way. Somebody really should have checked in with me, I thought, as a good neighbor. And I went outside and I saw this guy standing on a ladder, and I was like, hello, hello. And he's like, hello, hello. And I'm like, you know, stop, stop. And he stopped, and then he looked at me, and I said, do you know what you're doing? All of these pieces are going onto this property. And he looked at me like I had 3 heads, because he didn't speak English. So he went and he got somebody who interpreted, who I guess was somebody else working on the property. And they explained to him the problem. And then later in the day, I noticed 2 guys, I think one of them was the guy who was chopping everything off, with a plastic bag, at least going through most of the stuff. I don't know how far they went. I walked the length of my property. I don't know how far, you know, because there's bushes and shrubs, but it's kind of like, if there's anything that's done that affects my property, I don't mind that the fence is gonna be taller. In fact, it gives me more privacy, because the back of that motel, if you wanna call it that, all the bathrooms are on the back. And I'm sure people don't want me looking in their bathrooms, because I have a 2nd story and they don't. And I don't want people looking in my kitchen. So I'm fine with it being taller. I just don't want any problems. I don't want to have any expense that I have to incur as a result of this work. And that's why I'm here.
So first of all, as you face the property, you're on the right side?
If you
of the
face,
Kate's
if
Lazy
you,
Meadows?
facing my property, let's see, so
From-
it's, so it's Kate's Lazy Meadow, and then I'm to the right of the property,
Sure.
if you're facing my property
Got it.
and Kate's Lazy Meadow.
Okay.
I'm to the right. I'm the long white house, the two-story Tudor-style house.
Okay,
That's been there since, I believe, the 20s. I think it's like 100 years old. I've been there
God
since
bless.
'86. So, you know, my husband passed away 17 years ago, so I'm trying to maintain this myself. And I don't have, you know, I don't have somebody that's gonna go over and take care of stuff. I have to take care of stuff myself, so that's why I'm here. I'm my own
all right.
speaker.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank you for
coming.
showing up, thank you for your opinion. The issue of the fence post being cut off, that's not a zoning issue, that's a
No,
good
it's not.
neighbor issue.
Right.
Yeah, we met a couple weeks ago, my name's Josh Pulver. I'll give you my information, I'll talk to you when it's appropriate.
Okay, who are you, Josh?
I'm the architect
Okay.
that's stamping this stuff, and I'm doing project management for the owners there.
Okay.
So we're kind of, in theory, watching everything, but obviously not when they're dumping stuff, which isn't appropriate in your yard. So
Right.
let me get you the information, I'll make sure we can get back to
The
you.
pickets, right? The pickets.
Some of them are Spanish speaking.
No,
Yeah,
I think not each individual pickup, I think it's a fence post, they probably every 6.
No, I think she said there was hundreds of them.
Pickets.
It's all of them. It's the planks, yeah.
but I'll do the best.
It's one of those cheap fences, cheap fences that got.
Okay, I just want to be a good neighbor, and I just want to have, somebody that I can talk to, because there's so much going on over
And a
there.
little prematurely, they cut off the tops of those.
Preparing to make it.
Yeah, I know.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Unless you have questions, I'm good.
Yeah, so I have a question.
Yeah.
So you've been there all of that time, and you say that from your property, you could see into the windows of the Lazy Meadow?
Yeah,
Yeah, we have a couple of pictures showing that, actually.
Because I went by the property, and it didn't seem to me that, you know, the buildings aren't that tall, so it didn't seem to me that you could see, you know, back and forth.
okay, yeah, I mean, I can, yes, I know that. I am very much aware of that.
Okay, so wait, before we progress, so that's the matter for the general hearing, which is 7 o'clock. Right now, we're just hearing
Oh, sorry.
the public hearing. And the relevance of that is, this is televised, and our public tunes in at 7 o'clock to find out what's going on. So we shouldn't address that until the
We'll
actual
check this out.
7 o'clock.
And you have no issue with the fence being 8 or 8.5 feet, because
No, I don't have any, because the thing is, it will give whoever's staying there privacy. I won't be able to see in their bathroom windows, and they won't be able to see in my kitchen windows. Pretty much that side of my house is, we've pretty much made it so that people can't see in, but the
Okay.
thing is too, I have a second story. So,
that's the issue.
so, no, well, I always keep that's my one of my bedroom windows. I always keep my shade so that, you know,
Okay.
nobody can see in.
Another
And
thing-
I'm not interested in seeing anybody else either, believe me.
I hear you.
Mind my own business.
So you would prefer a taller fence, actually?
A taller fence is fine to me because I think it gives everybody more privacy and, you know, more security or whatever. You know, I don't like people looking at me when I'm cooking my dinner, you know, and I have had people staying over there before there was a fence, there was no fence. Years ago, there was no fence there. And then Lazy Meadow made a fence. And, before that, I
Kate's
actually,
Lazy Meadow? Before it was Kate's, there was no fence?
there was no fence.
Okay.
And it was
Understood.
only, I would say, within the last 4 years that there was any fence erected there.
Oh, okay.
There was no fence at all. There was just a metal, nothing. It was something that was half down.
Okay.
You could barely know that it was there,
Mm.
which was probably to mark the property.
Yeah, it's an old facility.
Pardon me?
It's an old facility.
Yes, and I think
Yeah.
my house was there before that, because I think my house was the original house. I
Okay.
think that was owned by the Averys, and they owned all that property there. So this was the original house that I'm in.
I have a question. So before the pickets were chopped off, the fence was 6 feet high, is that correct?
I don't know how tall it was, I don't know how tall it was, but whatever it is,
6-foot fence?
okay. But those little extra things, you know, yeah.
It's it's an existing stock, 6-foot stockade
Yeah,
fence.
stockade.
All, the majority, 90%, 95% of the posts are 8-footers not cut down. So, once we've now cut the tops off, you see the 4x4 existing ones sticking out. We haven't increased their height or anything like that. But
Got it, got it.
there's a little piece that's higher, it's 4x4.
Okay. Any other questions for the young lady? No? Okay, thank you. for your testimony.
Thank
We'll
you.
Put that under consideration.
And do I need to stay here or after 7 or so?
You're welcome to stay here if you want to hear that. We'll open the general meeting at 7 o'clock.
You want them to present why they want the 8-foot fence?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's pretty obvious, yes, we should ask them to present that. I'm more interested in the fence in the front. Yeah, but let's,
You know, once an 8-foot fence goes up, it doesn't need property forever.
that's right.
So you've got to always, you know, be concerned that it's forever and ever.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me with the side fences, but the front fence that goes along Route 28.
Right. It's more of an issue, actually, right?
I think so. Any, any other comments about the,
No.
okay. So I make a motion, we close the public hearing for the Perpetual Spruce LLC. May I have a second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, meeting closed. We'll return at 7,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
guess.
No, that's fine. Just so you have it.
May we have the roll call?
All right. Mark Lodi,
Here?
Gary Guglielmetti, Alan Vella,
Here.
Christian Lynch.
Here.
Henry Williams.
Here.
Did anybody have any amendments to the minutes of last meeting? No. So I make a motion, we accept the minutes of the last meeting as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Second?
Hi.
Aye. Okay, so moved. So our first order of business is Perpetual Space LLC. And you're asking for a variance of the fence height?
Yes, that is correct. My name is TJ Irvin. I'm on the architecture team.
You what?
On the architecture team, working on it on the site. I have some new information to present. I was in contact with the DOT, and they gave us the setback distance for the DOT setback.
Okay, good. Good. And that's for the front fence? The
Yes,
fence in
the
front
front
of
fence.
Okay.
And because we have that new information, we decided to change where we
65
put
feet.
things out in the front area along the roadside. So I have an updated site
Happy
plan.
said a fence set at 65 feet is acceptable.
Yeah.
65 feet off to the, yeah.
So
Center.
basically, it shows the side fence that we are going to request an extension on. And then this is the new fence we're going to do at 65 feet behind the existing bushes.
Okay.
And the sign is going to be in line with that as well. This
Okay.
is the new sign location.
It's a different
That's
drawing.
the existing that we'd like to remove.
Okay, now I understand that this session is just for the fence determination. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Otherwise, but it's on the site plan.
Well, apparently you will need approval from the DOT for the fence as well. Is that correct?
According to the letter, we don't need it because it's beyond 64 feet. So beyond 64 feet, they don't care about whatever happens.
Well, I
Okay.
think they care about what happens, it's just that.
As long as it's
Yeah,
not within
yeah.
their setback,
Yeah, yeah.
then it's not within
65
The
their.
feet.
sign would need, is what Grace had said, would need DOT approval.
Okay.
Yeah, originally the sign we wanted to have out further over this area, but
Mhm.
since we don't have permission from DOT, we're going to be moving that back as well. So the sign and everything would be at 65 feet from the road, and the DOT requires 64 feet. So we're 1 foot beyond that front setback from DOT.
Okay. Can we rule
Is that from the
on
center of
this?
the road?
They say from the center of the road.
The fence, I'm sorry if I
The
may.
fence is.
The
on
fence can
tonight's-
be ruled tonight. We're discussing the sign, and the sign would be next month's meeting to
Yes.
rule on that.
We need a public
So let's do
hearing
one
for the
thing at a
sign?
time.
The sign.
That's what Grace thinks.
Oh, okay.
See,
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if we need it because we're now moving the location, so I'm not sure if that's still part
Well,
of.
We need it by state law. We-
Yeah, because
To
it's
have a
gonna
public
be-
hearing before we make
Everything.
any
Okay.
determination whatsoever, so.
Before you, there's a freestanding sign there.
Yeah, it's just a stone. And it's
Okay.
that too. It's just gonna be a stone that has the name of the establishment on there.
Okay.
We're not exactly sure the exact size of the stone, it hasn't been picked out yet, but it's gonna be about no more than 4 feet tall, just sitting on the ground.
Okay, and what should be this location
Yep, right
right
here.
here?
That's about
Okay.
cool.
Okay.
With painted lettering, is that right?
I'm not sure if they're gonna have painted lettering or not,
Otherwise, what would it be?
just carved,
Carved out of the stone?
it might be polished.
Lighting?
I think they're discussing downlighting. So they're going to have a light above it,
Above
that lights
the
down
other.
the rock, right on.
That's,
That's another.
But that'll be the other meeting, I guess, we
Yeah, yeah.
discuss that.
Yeah, no, we determined. Is that gonna be
Change the
readable
drawing.
from the road if it's like
Yeah,
carved
it's,
in snow?
Probably not, I think it's just gonna be, you pull in and you can see that you're at the right place.
Yeah, I mean, that's not an issue for us, we're
Mhm.
just asking.
Well, the existing sign, which is right here, you can't read that at all. And that's a
Yeah.
larger
Well, it's
sign,
because it's behind the
all
bushes.
the bushes and everything, yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
the new
Okay.
location will be more legible, not by much, but.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so this year's today are a variation
Yes.
to the side fence from 6 feet to 8 feet.
I have a question.
Yes.
So what's there now is a vertical stockade
It's
fence
a vertical stockade fence, and then the structures for that, which are the 4x4 posts, those are.
or 8 foot? So you're gonna remove the vertical stockade fence and do a whole new horizontal fence?
Not all,
No, no,
just
no.
on the top. So,
You're
That's
just,
not what your drawing shows.
so the drawing that we have in our file shows only the new
So-
fence, I believe.
So what is
Okay.
this drawing?
No?
that is an outdated drawing. We are keeping the existing lower section.
Oh,
I believe that was submitted at some point, the lower section.
We do not have that.
Okay. Well, to describe it, we have this picket fence going across. That's the existing. These are the views from the bathrooms along the building on this side.
okay,
So
and
that
this
is
was
the neighbor's
the,
property.
who just testified,
Right.
right?
The plan is to cut the top of these pickets off, which had already happened, which
Right.
shouldn't have. And then, on top of that, we're gonna be put a few of these horizontal boards going across at 8 foot, once we have permission.
Horizontal board, I think.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then we're gonna meet wherever that cut line is and leave that existing fence
Okay,
here. And then
We should have a
sound-
drawing though that
Yeah.
reflects that.
that should be updated. I thought it was submitted.
You've changed the drawing, I think, quite a few times.
Yes,
already.
a lot of changes have happened to this project.
So we should probably have a drawing that shows the existing fence to be altered. That's the
Okay.
first drawing we should have, and we should also have a drawing of the new fence that you're proposing for the front.
Okay.
Because they're gonna be different,
And since we're
right?
ruling on the sign next month, can we wait for the drawings for the fence to rule on the fence, or?
well, first of all, the actual design of the fence is not under our purview, they can make any design they want.
Right.
But it was the issue of the height, that's all we're ruling on. Can we make that determination tonight?
Yeah, I think so.
So the horizontal boards on top of the existing fence are gonna be 2 foot in height?
A
Uh,
total of 8 feet.
Give or take, yes, about 2 feet,
Well-
depending on where the existing fence lies. Because we have some contours where it kind of dips down a little more. But we want to go up to 8 foot and fulfill from the top of where we cut off,
Yeah,
Right.
wherever
2
this,
feet.
about 2 feet, yes.
So it's gonna be 2 feet along that whole entire fence?
Yes.
All the
Because,
way around, both sides.
Yep.
because last month's, I don't know who was here, yeah.
Mr. Winnie?
that gentleman
Yeah.
there had said it'll be like 2.5 to 3 feet,
It should be around 2 feet.
around 2
Okay.
feet.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a couple inches more, a couple inches less, depending on where the existing fence is. Because some of these existing fences up off the ground a little more, and we're trying to
Okay.
work with what's existing.
All right, we're not gonna quibble over inches, but we will quibble over feet.
It's
And-
gonna be 8 feet and no taller than 8 feet.
And
The
this is-
posts are all set level, I assume,
Yeah.
and at 8 foot
The bell set
elevation,
level,
yeah,
And then you put the
right.
slats at the top to where they
And the request is just for the west side, or you're doing that on the
Both
east
sides.
side as well?
both sides. Trying to
Okay.
extend this here and here.
And
You
here
can see into this
is,
property from these buildings as well.
Oh, this is the other little house over there, right? The, is it yellow?
This one here, this one is red.
No,
the
no, he's
neighbor.
asking the residents over here.
Yeah, that's
Property
up by
here.
the house, yeah.
And then there's the bus.
Yes,
Yep.
bus depot on top of there.
I know these people.
The previous person who spoke was on this side. of the
Right.
property.
Right.
And why are you wanting to extend the fence?
More privacy, so this way you don't see through the
Visual
bathrooms.
privacy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are what the side fence are, and then the front fence is mainly a sound barrier, trying to prevent most of the sound coming from the road.
Sound barrier, okay.
You do know that you're in the scenic byway, in the Catskill Park.
Yeah. And most of these will be, this fence will be behind all of these plantings, so you won't even see them.
And what is that at? That's gonna be at, what side, what's the height on that fence?
Also 8 feet,
8 feet.
yeah. We'd like to match the side fence.
They're allowed at 4 feet
All right.
via zoning. So that's,
Existing plants here, I think are about 12 feet tall.
Do you have a photo of
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
I do not. I might have it on my phone.
but that will not serve as a visual barrier in the fall and winter.
Right.
It currently is a visual barrier.
The shrubbery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This, in the front, you can see, that is that visual barrier that we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
That's the row of them, and then the one larger one is this one here.
Okay,
You can see that clearly
Yep.
enough.
right.
And your fence is basically in line with the larger.
This bush here,
Yep.
yeah. So in the summer months, you won't be able to see the fence at all.
Okay, so there's been no objection to the additional 2-foot variance on the side fences, and in fact, we had an encouragement.
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
it.
definitely.
So I don't see any problem with granting that variance. Do you guys? The side fences?
I would think there should be a drawing, though, that shows that, I would think. Right now, we're not really seeing a drawing that shows an existing fence being added to
Mhm.
8-foot max.
Are you reluctant to make a decision in the absence of that drawing?
There would be no record of what would be happening there.
What?
You could do it, I was going to say, approve it pending those updated drawings at
Revisions.
next month's meeting.
Oh, that's true, we could give a conditional variance.
I would do that.
Okay.
You know, what is the
That
real
seems like the
reason
best
for the
case
8-foot
scenario.
fence?
Just privacy.
But it seems like you're blocking this thing off and making it a compound. You know, you want an 8-foot fence all around.
Did you look at the pictures?
So these are the views from the hotel room inside of it.
Yeah, and you know, you are in a residential zone.
Yes,
You do realize that.
yes.
Yeah, that's the problem, you got a residence next to it. Yeah.
So privacy
Okay.
for the establishment and for the neighbors as well. So
Okay.
they don't see into their.
That's a win-win.
I mean, honestly, I was against that, we knew that was just coming up, and I did not like the idea of an 8-foot fence around. But based on your neighbor and what's going on there with these pictures, thank you for those. It's helpful. I think that's reasonable. The front fence, I'm not, I'm a little,
Well, I think
Yeah.
the reason Mr. Lynch is asking for drawing is because that establishes a legal standard which you guys have to follow. So what we can do is if we do grant that variance, we can give it as a conditional variance. You may have the variance if you provide the visual documentation.
Right.
Is that your point?
Yes, absolutely.
and your front fence is gonna be all horizontal, I assume?
Yes, all horizontal.
Now, the
There's not
issue,
an existing fence there.
Right.
the whole reason the these fence heights are in the zoning law in the first place is to preserve the view shed.
Right.
Both for the neighbors, if they're driving by. It is a scenic byway, it is a state highway. You're allowed a 4-foot fence. We can't
Right.
deny that, and you're certainly legal to do that. I can't see a reason for an 8-foot fence in the front. You mentioned sound suppression.
4 foot could possibly, mitigate some, because you get talking road noise, tire noise.
Road noise,
4 foot may do, will 8 foot do more? I don't know.
I think the issue with the owner, that the owner has with all the noise, is right off of 212, a lot of times the trucks will come in and they'll stop right there. And, there's activity going on, and then they just kind of go down the road further. So he was more concerned about any noise and any accidental noise getting into the property.
I don't know that,
Well, wouldn't
I don't know.
greenery give you a better noise barrier?
Oh, some months out of the year, no,
Well,
Evergreens.
evergreens, you know,
Yeah.
would give you a,
they could be.
My trepidation about that is that people ask for variances all the time, and we like to give a variance where it helps the property owner, it helps the community. Our two standards are to do nothing that abrogates the character of the community and nothing that abrogates the economic activity of the community. And I can't see a compelling reason for either one of those issues to
Yeah.
grant the variance on the front.
Yeah,
Can you guys-
I tend to agree.
I agree as well.
Any other questions, any other discussion?
No, I mean, that's, that's my gut feeling there.
Gut feeling?
Like I said, the side I was, definitely had mixed feelings, but I feel better about that now.
Okay, I make a motion, we grant the variance as requested from 6 feet to 8 foot for the side fences,
Conditionally.
Pending,
conditional upon an architectural drawing indicating what is meant to be done. Okay?
Do I have to present that here, or can I email it to the building department?
You get it to the building department, as a matter of record. But as part of that motion, I would deny the variance for the front fence from 4 feet to 8 foot.
Okay.
You're still allowed a 4-foot fence, we can't, I mean, that's in the zoning, but I just can't see any compelling reason to grant that 8 feet.
It was mainly for a sound barrier.
Okay.
From the traffic going by.
I think it's iffy sound barrier.
yeah, iffy sound barrier and visually for, I think, community-wise, it's like in your face off the road. It's, to me, it's like this 8-foot wall.
So Olivia, did you get that motion down?
Yes, we gotta do a roll call vote.
May I have a second, first of all?
Second,
Yeah.
And
And then I'll
seconds,
do
and roll call, please.
Roll call. Mark Lodi? Gary
Uh,
Guglielmin?
I-
Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
mean- I meaning, I support the motion. Aye. Yes.
Gary Guglielmin, Alan Vella,
aye.
Christian Lynch.
Aye.
Henry Williams.
Aye.
Okay, so ruled. Thank you.
All right.
Understood?
Thanks for your time, really appreciate it.
Can we just
Okay.
talk about the
The sign?
The sign? What's,
You-
just,
Oh, yeah, sure.
Do you have any information for us about the sign, or?
other than
Well,
it's gonna be a rock that's carved,
It's gonna be carved.
and it's
Yeah.
about 4 foot high or so?
About 4 feet, yeah. The trouble is they're trying to source the size of the rock and where it can come from, so we don't know the exact size of it. But
Yeah.
it's either going to be a rounded boulder or a flat, like 2-inch or 3-inch piece that gets stuck in the ground as
Okay.
carved.
And lit from downlight?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Well, we don't mean to draw this out just to inconvenience people, but by state law, we are obligated to hold a public hearing, which I assume would be minimal. I can't imagine your neighbors objecting to a sign, but we are obligated to make that public notice and then allow any comments which we have to consider when we make our final determination.
Okay.
So that's the reason for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions about it, or
I don't think so,
Oh, okay.
right? What's the name?
no leeway?
The leeway, of course, it's on the drawing. Did you see the perch?
I don't think so.
Oh, down the road a piece.
Yeah. I don't think we can see it from there.
No.
Okay. Well, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, folks.
Sure.
We'll see you next month. Now, I thought there was an additional applicant for this week.
No, they canceled,
They
like,
canceled last minute.
almost immediately after.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Was there a reason for the poll, that?
Grace knows, I can't remember.
Okay, it's kind of a,
Yeah.
it's just a.
Grace knows all.
Yeah.
Thank God somebody does. Any other business you guys want to address, or anything else you want to say? Okay.
I mean,
Maybe
that sign doesn't sound like an issue, right?
No, it seems like that.
I think we should pay attention to
The
the-
lighting,
yeah. Pay attention to the lighting.
if they're gonna have lighting, exactly what type of lighting they're
Or
gonna
We should, we should actually have told them that, right? You're gonna come back with a
We
drawing.
mentioned, we asked the question about the lighting.
I know, but do we have a drawing of it? Is that,
The-
Yeah, I
we
think,
do-
I think,
there's no detail of
Yes,
the,
he said he was gonna bring in some sort of drawing,
Did he?
Yeah, and he didn't know whether it was gonna be painted or etched or
right.
whatever.
Right,
That's
that's
right.
still.
Well, we
being
can't
worked out.
adjudicate the actual design of the sign. That's up to them,
Just
but
the-
But
just
we
the
still need
dimensions.
don't we need an accurate record regardless of the design? I know we're
Well-
not ruling on it, but shouldn't we have an accurate record of what's going on?
the answer is yes, in all
Definitely.
cases. In all cases, we sometimes don't. We have,
But I get what you're saying, because we're not saying you can,
Well, I think
this
it's
can
a sign
change,
issue.
as long, if we give them a sign, a variance for a sign, it's based on our interpretation of what he showed us. So if
Yeah.
that does change, doesn't
they're
that?
out of. fair-
Well, that's what I'm
they're out
saying,
of
so
compliance.
then,
What
so then
he's-
shouldn't the drawing be accurate to what?
Yes.
It should, because he said that the sign's gonna be around 4 feet tall, and we say, okay, that's great, and then it's built at 15 feet tall.
Yeah.
That's a problem, right? So I think we want to be
Totally.
able to have
Your
that.
drawing shows 4 foot. I mean, I guess you could verbally say in the record, we're giving a variance for a 4 foot by 3 foot sign. I think it has to be very specific,
Verbal assurances are difficult to
They are.
enforce in this town.
even if it's
Yeah,
written
yeah.
as a matter of record. Why?
Because it
Lack
can
of
it's just be
enforcement.
interpreted.
As
Differently.
Well,
for
so, okay,
example, as
well,
for
I-
ex-
listen, I'm all for drawings. I'm a drawing guy.
no, I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
I agree too, but in the past, anybody that wanted a sign, at least since I've been here, has given us a drawing of what the sign, the dimensions.
Right, remember the ones,
The last one we
Phoenicia
had.
soap?
And
I
he
mean, you
didn't
know,
have any of that tonight, right?
Yeah.
No.
Right, right.
no.
And
Now-
their plans changed 3 or 4 times
Right.
already.
Yeah.
And in
'Cause
fact,
it
yeah,
was-
the soap sign, remember that? They said it was gonna be a certain
Yep.
height, and then the drawings showed it the wrong height, and so they
Right,
had to.
right.
Same
Because it
thing
was in a
with the
swale, and
wellness.
they never did
That
put it in
never
a
happened.
swale, so they actually didn't follow the
Same thing, they
variance.
had changed the
However,
sign, they changed the
where it was-
design.
Right now, they're pre-existing non-conforming, and they have a freestanding sign, which nobody else can have. So because they're pre-existing non-conforming, and it's a residential zoned 1.5 district, that the sign has to, because they really never had a sign before, realistically. This sign is gonna be a permanent sign that's in the ground, if it's stone, and it's gonna be fixed. So we should have a drawing, and it should be documented in the record, you know.
But I'm not sure that he, I don't know, maybe you heard that. I didn't hear that he was gonna actually make a drawing of what he's gonna, what they're
Yeah.
proposing.
So could we have Grace reach out to these people and request a drawing
Of
for
course.
the next meeting?
Yeah, I'll let her know tomorrow
A
morning.
detailed drawing
No.
Yeah.
of what they're, exactly they're doing.
No,
I can't even read these.
Yes, so this
Giant
is,
piece of paper, and it's so small.
well, this drawing is different than the drawings that we have in our file, so should we make a record, put this as part of the record?
I think so. In fact,
Yeah,
you
I
said
can
they
put that
changed
in
it a
the
couple
file.
times since the last meeting,
Yeah, exactly.
so.
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can put it, go ahead and put it in their file.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe these two, right?
Yeah, put the pictures in the file.
Now, so we will still need a public hearing for the sign, correct?
For the sign.
Yep.
Which we haven't done yet. Okay, so I make a motion, and we call a public hearing for the June zoning board meeting to elicit public comment for the Perpetual Space LLC sign for the old Lazy Meadows. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, public hearing.
So moved.
So moved. Any other business? I don't think so. No?
No?
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in
Second,
favor?
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So ruled. Thank you, folks. All right, short and sweet, we got to the point.
There's a drawing of his sign, right? His rock sign.
That was,
So
is that new? No.
he's saying it's gonna be roughly 4 feet. Oh, we're done.
Yes.
So this is a little bit different than what he described, right? So that's another reason why we should get a drawing that shows the design.
Okay, so let's make sure Grace asks for an updated sign.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell Grace tomorrow morning.